If I told you about a story so horrifying, so unexplainable, that it was buried to keep people from losing their minds? A story that didn't happen in some faraway land, but right here, hidden in the heart of America. And the scariest part? It could still be happening. This isn't just a tale, it's a warning. And once you hear it, you may never look at your town the same way again. Today, we're about to peel back the layers of a story so chilling it's been hidden away in the shadows of a quiet suburban neighborhood. A story of fear so deep, tragedy so overwhelming, and mysteries so terrifying that they've been buried and forgotten by everyone who could have told it. But now, the truth is clawing its way back to the surface, and it's more disturbing than you can imagine. In the early 1800s, a quiet farming family in Adams, Tennessee, became the center of one of America's most famous hauntings. This wasn't just a story told around campfires. It was real. Witnesses, dozens of them, reported strange, terrifying events that they could never explain. And it all began with the Bell family. John Bell was a respected farmer, known in the community for his generosity and strong moral values. He lived a simple life with his wife, Lucy, and their children on a vast farm in the Red River area. For years, the Bells enjoyed peace and prosperity, but everything changed in 1817. It started small, odd, almost dismissible things. The family would hear faint tapping on their walls at night, soft and rhythmic. At first, they thought it was the wind or animals outside, but the tapping grew louder, more insistent, and began to move around the house. One night, the sound came from inside the walls. They tried to find a source, tearing apart parts of the house, but there was nothing. No mice, no branches brushing against the wood. Just nothing. Soon, the sounds escalated. Whispering voices started to accompany the tapping. At first, it was unintelligible, like muffled chatter in another room. Then, it grew clearer. The whispers called out their names. The children were the first to notice objects moving on their own. Toys would slide across the floor. Candlesticks tipped over when no one was near them. The family tried to dismiss it, chalking it up to tired minds or overactive imaginations. But then came the nights when the children woke up screaming. They claimed something was pulling their blankets, tugging at their hair, and even scratching their skin. When the parents checked, they found red welts and scratches on their bodies, marks that hadn't been there before they went to bed. John Bell began to experience strange symptoms too. He felt his throat constricting, as if invisible hands were choking him. This unseen force seemed particularly hostile to him, and the family started to believe they were being targeted by something far beyond their understanding. It wasn't long before word spread. Neighbors came to see for themselves, and they weren't disappointed. Visitors reported hearing disembodied voices mocking the family, objects flying across rooms, and strange, cold drafts moving through the house. This was no ordinary haunting. It was something far more sinister. The entity identified itself, claiming to be the spirit of a woman named Kate Batts. Kate was a neighbor who had once quarreled with John over a land dispute. Before her death, she had vowed to seek revenge. And now, it seemed she was keeping her promise. Kate, or the Bell Witch, as the locals began to call her, grew bolder with each passing day. She mocked John relentlessly, often mimicking his voice in cruel, high-pitched tones. She cursed him, predicting his downfall and laughing whenever he suffered. Note, the haunting wasn't confined to the Bell home. It followed the family to church, to the fields, and even to town. Horses would bolt for no reason, crops withered inexplicably, and the Bell children were tormented everywhere they went. The family turned to the church, inviting pastors and ministers to their home. They prayed, read scriptures, and even tried exorcisms, but nothing worked. In fact, the more they resisted, the more powerful the entity seemed to become. John Bell's health continued to decline. He grew weaker with each passing day, plagued by seizures and unbearable pain. The witch seemed to revel in his suffering, often taunting him, saying, "I'll get you soon, John Bell." In December of 1820, John Bell was found unconscious in his bed. Beside him was a small vial of an unknown liquid. The Bell Witch claimed she had poisoned him, declaring her triumph. John died that night, and his death sent shockwaves through the community. At his funeral, the witch was said to have cackled loudly, singing mocking songs as mourners wept. Despite her victory, she didn't stop tormenting the family immediately. The Bell family remained haunted for several years before the activity finally subsided. But even today, the legend of the Bell Witch lives on. People who visit the old Bell farm report eerie sensations, strange sounds, and even sightings of shadowy figures. Some say the witch never truly left, that she's simply waiting for another victim. Was this the revenge of a wronged spirit, or something far darker? Whatever the truth, the story of the Bell Witch remains one of the most chilling tales in American history, a reminder that some things can't be explained and that evil can linger long after death.